stop what you are doing. Put down your phone, look at the screen. What you are seeing right now isn't a correction. It isn't a recession signal. It is a liquidation. At 9:32 a.m. this morning, an algorithm on Wall Street triggered a sell order that wiped out $40 billion of American wealth in 12 seconds. Look at the ticker symbols. KO, Coca-Cola down 15%. PepsiCo down 18%, INTC, Intel down 9%. You might be thinking, it's just the stock market, it bounces back. You are wrong. This is different. This isn't about interest rates or inflation or a bad jobs report. This is about the physical reality of the North American continent changing overnight. For the last 3 months, Donald Trump has been playing a game of chicken with Canada. He called Mark Carney weak. He called Canada the 51st state. He threatened to build a tariff wall around the American economy so high that nothing could get over it. Well, this morning, Mark Carney didn't just climb over that wall. He tunneled right under it and cut the water main. We are witnessing the first shots of the Great Water War, and if you are sitting in the United States right now, I need you to understand one terrifying fact. Your president just picked a fight with the only country that can turn off your tap. In this video, we are going to break down exactly what happened in the last 4 hours. We are going to show you the document that Mark Carney signed, the one the White House is frantically trying to translate. We are going to show you why chip manufacturers in Arizona are suddenly panicking. And we are going to explain why Donald Trump's entire America First strategy just dissolved in a glass of Canadian water. Buckle up. The map is being redrawn. Let's rewind to 8 a.m., Washington, D.C. The president is tweeting about dairy farmers in Wisconsin. He's feeling good. He thinks he has the leverage. But 300 miles north in a quiet office in Ottawa, Mark Carney was initiating what insiders are now calling the Blue Shield Protocol. At 9:15 a.m., the Canadian government filed a new regulation under the Canadian Environmental Protection Act. It wasn't a press release. It was a technical filing. It's titled the Sovereign Industrial Water Levy, SIWL. Here is the text. Read it with me. A retroactive surcharge on high-volume industrial water consumption by non-domiciled entities operating within the Great Lakes Basin, effective immediately. Let me translate that from bureaucrat speak into simple English for you. For 50 years, American corporations have treated Canada like a free utility. Companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestlé, and General Mills built massive plants just north of the border. They pump billions of liters of fresh, clean Canadian water. They bottle it. They use it to wash silicon chips. They use it to process corn syrup, and they pay virtually zero for it. It was the good neighbor discount. Canada has the water. America provides the business. Trump broke that social contract when he slapped a 25% tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum last week. He effectively told Canada, we don't care about your economy. We are going to squeeze you. Carney just squeezed back. The new levy charges these American companies 0.0555 per liter on industrial water usage. That sounds small, right? 5 cents. Do the math. A single bottling plant uses millions of liters a day. A semiconductor foundry uses even more. At 9:16 a.m., the CFO of Coca-Cola got a notification that his cost of goods sold just increased by 400%. At 9:17 a.m., the algorithms realized that Pepsi's profit margin for the entire fiscal year just vanished. At 9:30 a.m., the market opened and the selling began. This wasn't a negotiation tactic. This was an execution. Carney didn't threaten to do it. He didn't leak it to the press to get a reaction. He just did it. And that is why the White House is paralyzed. Trump is used to noise. He knows how to fight noise. He doesn't know how to fight silence. He doesn't know how to fight a math problem. And right now, the math says America is losing. Most of the news channels are talking about soda. They're talking about soda because it's easy to understand. But the real panic, the one that has the Pentagon on the phone to Ottawa right now, isn't about sugar water, it's about chips. Here is receipt number 1. Look at Intel. Look at Global Foundries. These companies have massive operations that rely on cross-border supply chains. You cannot make a computer chip without water. Ultra-pure water. It is the solvent of the 21st century. A significant portion of the ultra-pure water filtration systems and the raw feedstock for plants in the northern U.S. comes from the Great Lakes watershed governed by joint commissions that Canada just threw a wrench into. When the levy hit, It didn't just tax the water going into bottles. It taxed the water used in industrial cooling and cleaning processes for American tech firms operating in the border zone. We are seeing reports, unconfirmed but credible, that a major semiconductor supply line in New York State has paused intake. They can't afford the new rate. They are waiting for a waiver. Do you understand what that means? Trump has spent billions on the CHIPS Act to bring manufacturing back to America. He told you he was securing the future, but he forgot that you can build the factory, but you can't build the river. Carney just reminded him. By targeting industrial usage, Carney has effectively held the American tech sector hostage. He is saying, you want to tax our lumber? Fine. We will tax the liquid that cools your servers and cleans your processors. This is fifth-generation economic warfare. It's not tanks. It's not missiles. It's friction. Carney introduced friction into the most efficient machine in the world, and the machine is starting to smoke. Let's look at the reaction from Washington, because this is where the contrast becomes painful to watch. Donald Trump is currently in a meeting with his trade advisors. We are hearing from sources that the mood in the room is nuclear. Trump wants to retaliate. His instinct is always to hit back harder. We are hearing rumors he wants to close the border to Canadian trucks. He wants to ban Canadian oil. But here is why he is losing control. The bully paradox. A bully only has power when the victim is afraid of being hit. Once the victim hits back and hits back with a weapon the bully didn't see coming, the bully's leverage evaporates. If Trump closes the border to trucks today, the U.S. auto industry shuts down by Friday. GM and Ford rely on parts that cross that border 6 times before a car is finished. If Trump bans Canadian oil, gas prices in the Midwest go to $7 a gallon by Monday. He is trapped. He cannot escalate without hurting his own voters. He cannot retreat without looking weak. And look at his allies. Where are they? Is Europe rushing to support Trump? No. They are quietly buying more Canadian energy. Is Mexico helping? No. Mexico is watching this and taking notes. Trump has spent 4 years isolating America, telling the world, we don't need you. Today, Canada proved that America does need the world. Specifically, it needs the resources that the world has. Meanwhile, watch the press secretary. They haven't held a briefing yet. Why? Because they don't have a talking point. They can't blame woke mobs. They can't blame the radical left. This is a sovereign nation enforcing its own tax code. Trump is flailing because he is fighting a ghost. He can't insult Carney into changing the law. He can't tweet the stock market back up. He is watching his numbers crash. And for the first time in a long time, he is not the one holding the remote control. Now shift your focus to Ottawa. While Washington is on fire, Ottawa is quiet. Mark Carney hasn't tweeted today. He hasn't held a victory rally. He attended a scheduled meeting on Arctic sovereignty and then went to lunch. This is the Carney doctrine. It is the weaponization of competence. Carney knows something Trump doesn't. Markets hate volatility, but they respect power. By imposing this tax, Carney isn't acting like a radical. He is acting like a CEO. He is saying, our water is a premium asset you have been underpaying. Now the price is fair. The global markets, the guys in London, Tokyo, Singapore, they aren't panicking about Canada. They are actually buying the Canadian dollar caddy. Look at the Forex markets. The loonie is up 2% against the US dollar today. Why? Because investors see Canada as a country that knows its own worth. They see a leader who isn't afraid to protect his assets. Carney is playing the long game. He knows that in 20 years, water will be more valuable than oil. He is establishing the precedent now. He is using Trump's aggression as an excuse to do something Canada has wanted to do for decades: monetize its natural advantage. He is turning Canada into a fortress. Trump views every interaction as a transaction. I win, you lose. Carney views the world as a system. If I change this variable, the whole system shifts in my favor. He didn't just tax water, he taxed Trump's arrogance. And the bill is due. I want to take you out of the stock market for a second and take you to Toledo, Ohio. There is a bottling plant there that employs 400 people. These are good union jobs. These are the people Trump swore to protect. Right now, the manager of that plant is on the phone with corporate headquarters in Atlanta. He is asking if he should run the second shift. Headquarters doesn't know. If the cost of their raw material just quadrupled, they might have to shut down the line. That means 400 people go home without pay. That means 400 families start worrying about the mortgage. This is the reality of a trade war. It's not lines on a chart, it's pink slips. And it's not just the factory, it's the truck drivers who haul the soda. It's the farmers who sell the corn for the syrup. It's the cardboard box manufacturers. Trump's tariff war was supposed to bring jobs back. Instead, it triggered a retaliation that is killing the jobs that were already there. Carney knows this, and it's a brutal calculation. He is betting that the pain of the American worker will force the American president to fold. It is a cold, hard strategy. But Trump left him no choice. When you threaten a country's existence, they don't fight fair. They fight to win. And right now, the American worker is collateral damage in a war started by a president who didn't read the briefing book. You might be asking, like, can't the U.S. just sue? Isn't this illegal? That's the beauty of Carney's trap. There is a treaty from 1909 called the Boundary Waters Treaty. It governs how Canada and the U.S. share the Great Lakes. Trump's lawyers are currently tearing their offices apart looking for a clause that stops this tax. But here's the kicker. Trump has spent the last 3 years ignoring international treaties. He pulled out of climate accords. He ignored the WTO. He signaled to the world that treaties are for suckers. Carney is using Trump's own logic against him. If the U.S. doesn't respect international law, why should Canada? Canada is framing this as an internal tax matter. Sovereign nations have the absolute right to tax activity within their borders. If Coca-Cola extracts water inside Canada, Canada can tax it, period. To fight this, Trump would have to go to the international courts he despises. He would have to ask the World Trade Organization for help, the same organization he tried to defund. The irony is staggering. The America First president is going to have to go begging to globalist judges to save him from Canada. And even if he does sue, it takes years. The stock market is crashing now. The factories are pausing now. Carney doesn't need to win the lawsuit in 5 years. He just needs to win the economic war this week. There is a moment from this morning that I think perfectly captures where we are. At 10 a.m., a reporter caught Mark Carney leaving Parliament. They asked him, "Mr. Prime Minister, is this a declaration of economic war?" Carney didn't stop walking. He just turned, looked at the camera and said, "We aren't declaring war. We are just declaring that Canada is no longer a discount store." Compare that to the all-caps rant currently sitting on Donald Trump's Truth Social page. One man is in control. The other is screaming at the rain. We are entering the danger zone. The next 24 hours will decide the fate of the North American economy. Here are the 3 ways this plays out. Scenario 1, the corporate coup. The CEOs of the Fortune 500 call the White House. They tell Trump, "Fix this or we stop donating." Trump is forced to walk back his tariffs on Canada. He spins it as a great deal, but everyone knows he blinked. Canada drops the water tax. Stability returns. Scenario 2, the tantrum. Trump refuses to lose. He issues an executive order seizing Canadian assets in the U.S. or blocking the border. This is the nightmare scenario. The stock market crashes another 20%, supply chains shatter. We see food shortages in American grocery stores within a week. Scenario 3, the divorce. This is the one nobody is talking about, but it's real. Canada decides the U.S. is too unstable. They keep the tax. They pivot trade to Europe and Asia. The U.S. loses its privileged access to Canadian resources forever. Prices in America go up permanently. We become a poorer, more isolated country. Carney seems ready for scenario 3. Is Trump? History is rarely made by nice people shaking hands. It's made by conflict. It's made by leverage. Today, the leverage shifted. For 100 years, America was the giant and Canada was the quiet partner. Today, the partner stood up and the giant stumbled. You need to pay attention to this. This isn't just about water. This is about a fundamental change in how the world works. The era of the U.S. bullying its allies for profit is over. Mark Carney just drove a stake through it. The question now is, will Trump realize he's beaten? Or will he drag the American economy down with him just to prove a point? If you own stocks, if you own a business, if you buy groceries, watch the news tonight, because the water war has just begun and nobody knows how high the flood is going to get. Do you think Carney went too far, or did Trump deserve this reality check? I want to see your debate in the comments. And listen, if scenario 2 happens, you need to be prepared. I'm going to be tracking the supply chain data all night. Subscribe and turn on notifications. You do not want to miss the next update. And remember, in these turbulent times, the implications extend even further into the realms of international alliances and long-term economic strategies that could reshape the world order for generations to come.